computer. And now I should see recording. So we are on. Okay, so let me do this. So, I'm the one, I want to see something. You can switch the way we see, right? And this is, okay, I'm going to go to the very basics of a Zoom class or a Zoom meeting, because I'm assuming that right now, maybe you've been doing a few, either with friends or with clients. So it's important that you kind of feel comfortable in the application, because it makes a big difference about how professional we're gonna show up. And remember, this class is about a listing presentation. So I want you to think, when you think of a listing presentation, that you are going to the listing presentation, okay? This is no different than you meeting with a person one-on-one. So from that point of view, I want you to take care of a few things. First of all, how would you dress, right? It's not the same thing as being on my PJs, in case that I was wearing by 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock, my PJs. But if I'm gonna be, some people are wearing only the top of their clothing, which is fine, because if you're doing conference, you can be on Bermudas or shorts. But if you're gonna be walking around, like if I walk right now, I get up and start walking around my house, you're gonna start seeing me. Of course, I'm wearing jeans, but if the case was that I'm not wearing jeans, you will see me in my underwear, okay? So that will not be professional. So that's one thing that you need to always be mindful. Even with reflection, I don't know how many of you can see the back, but on the back, you can see, I have the lining and everything. So before I start the meeting, I kind of clean it up to be sure that every angle you will see something that is pleasant, right? It's not like a mess, okay? Because believe it or not, people is watching, and it's just watching, especially when you're having a conversation, you want the center of attention to be you, okay? So in this case, and you don't need to have a professional light on the back or anything, you just need to be in a place that has enough light, either being sunlight or light, that makes your face look right, okay? So that's to start basically on a little bit of setting it up for the Zoom. The other thing is, like, if you always wear makeup, this is for the woman, not for the man, you will, of course, will do makeup and try to be as professional as it is. I mean, just think of, I'm gonna go and meet with my client. The only difference is you're gonna meet in front of the computer, you're not gonna meet in person, okay? So I wanted to keep that in mind. The other thing that I wanted to keep in mind is that it's very important that when we present ourselves and when we schedule these meetings, we request to our clients that they've been in a place, hopefully in front of an iPad, because it has a bigger screen, or in front of a computer. And why is this? Among other things, because imagine you're having a listing presentation with your client, he's driving in the car with the application on the phone, how much attention he can give you? Little, actually. So not only that of like the safety issues, but he will not be paying attention. When you start sharing your screen to show him things, he will not be able to see. So you need to make this be like a meeting. So he needs to be in a place, hopefully his house, okay, where he has a computer or an iPad, and he has like 15, 20, 30 minutes just to pay attention to you, okay? You need to set it up with that level of importance, because truly it's about making the best of this half an hour that you're gonna share with him, okay, to talk about his property. So those are what I like to call a few things that you might be able to talk to him before the meeting, okay? This is part of your pre-meeting kind of setting ups. Calling him like 2 days in advance, maybe, to tell him, I wanna see your calendar, what is the best time? And remember, every time you do that, you have two options. Either you can do it via email, and you can send him literally, let me admit everybody. You can literally send the meeting, so you can send him a calendar, right? And I mentioned that when I announced it, I don't know how many of you, but I know that some of you are using Calendly. Calendly is a free application that allows you to open spaces for your meetings, okay? And they will go directly to your Google Calendar. So it's very useful, especially now, but believe me, in the future, I want for you to take the best of your time. If you allow people to schedule prior and you block those times, you cannot double, meet or double do things that, because your calendar is there. So whatever appointments are there, you have to, pay attention to those. So If you want to do it with Calendly, again, Google it. I will put the link later. I think I put the link already last week when I announced the class, but I will put it again with the recording. If not, you can go the traditional way, send it an email or on a phone call, asking him for the best dates. Why? Because you want him to block those times, okay? And you're gonna tell him, hey, Mr. Client, I'm gonna use Ricardo as an example because I'm watching and look at his face, and say, hey, Ricardo, I'm gonna be sending you, an email with the details over the things that we're gonna prepare prior to our meeting in 2 days from now, okay? Why you wanna do this? Because you wanna prep him, okay? First of all, because he needs to do work. On the prep work, it's a good thing that you ask a bunch of questions. What are the questions that will be useful for you? And I'm gonna ask for your interaction right now. What are the questions when you meet with a client for a listing presentation that you ask the client prior to be ready for the listing presentations? If you have never used the chat of this application, move your cursor over the screen and you will have the banner on the bottom. There's a chat. I want you to click on that. Oh, thank you. And I want you to click on that and I want you to answer me. What are the questions, okay, that you ask most commonly to your client prior to the listing presentation appointment? Crickets. I don't want crickets. I mean, you guys are all agents, so I know that you have listing presentation meetings. So please share with me and with everybody else, what are some of the questions that you might ask? Why am I saying this? Why I'm giving you time to answer, okay? Because you want to have some knowledge about things, because you don't want to waste all your listing presentation time to start going over things because you will not be able to price the property correctly. So my advice is, yes, exactly, very nice. If you're making if he's the person, thank you, Paula. If he's like not only the decision making, like she says, which is great, but is anybody else involved? Like if in the title there's a husband and wife, both of them have to be there. Why? Because that will take care of the first, excuse that they will give you. My wife is not here. I need to talk to her about this decision. It's very important. So you don't want that excuse, okay, to show up. So for that, you tell them, this is very important. Really, it's not going to be more than 15 to 20 minutes of your time. So I need you both, please, to be there since you both are entitled. So by making that clear, you will get rid of that excuse, which is one of the most common excuses that they will show up, that they will tell you. So that's another one. So Maria, where are you moving? Yes. What takes you there? Very good. What do you have to be there? Do you own? Okay. Very good questions. All of those. About what is the conditions that they're in now? Why do they need to sell? Okay. And then, so that's are the questions that I recommend that you send prior. Okay. Again, you send them via email, or if you're, this is what I like. When you're more like prepared, and I can send you a few of the questions that you can ask to qualifier buyers. Sorry, let me keep on meeting people. Qualifiers, sellers, there's a few questions that you can ask. There is two ways of asking. You can either ask by sending them via what is called the SurveyMonkey, which is an application that they just click, 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 answer it, and that's it. Or you can send a PDF that they can fill in, whatever works. Or you can call them, again, the old way, and you can basically keep asking the questions prior to the meeting. This is prior to the meeting, and get the answers that they give you. What are we doing here? Why do I keep saying prior to the meeting? I want the listing presentation to be straightforward for the listing. I don't want you to go in the listing presentation to get to know your client. Your listing presentation is where you go, present, show the numbers, sign. That's it. That's the listing presentation, okay? All the other conversations have to happen prior to this. And it's not only good for that, it's also good to prep, to start to get to know the client, to start to show that, listen, I'm here and this is very serious. It's 5 minutes you can ask a few questions in 5-10 minutes maybe, and it's not that much time. And then you're ready for your listing presentation to be very straightforward. So let's go and review. Prior work is requesting the date. And once you request a date and he has answered you with that, you will send him a link with the scheduling, okay, like I send you all the time, for the listing present for the Zoom class that you will have, okay? That's number one. Number two, you will ask the questions. You can send the PDF, you can ask them on the phone. I will send you around 20 questions that you can ask. I want you to pick the ones you feel comfortable to ask them prior. And number three, and this is what I found that is very interesting, and I hear this on with another agent, the top producer, and I love the idea. You will ask them, okay, what is the best time after they do that, because you don't want them then to get all busy, to ask to do FaceTime or for you to send me a short video. I like FaceTime better for the purpose of, my God, the video got too long, I don't know how to show it, because you need to see the house. And especially right now, they might not want it to go inside the house or whatever. So if that's an issue, you can ask your client and say, hey, let's do it. Like, just, let me know what is the best time. And I want you to walk with me around the house with your phone doing FaceTime, okay? So that way you have a better idea, okay? Especially if the property has not been in the MLS prior, so you don't know if the kitchens are upgraded, the bathrooms or whatever. So they can not only tell you about the house, but you can see it, okay? This is very important for you, so you're prepared for the listing presentation and for the pricing, okay? So as she's doing that, you're either recording or you're taking notes, whatever works for you. So that's your prior work. So I'm gonna put pause for a second to welcome everybody else that has showed up, and I'm gonna make my screen to be like, wow, how many are we? A lot of people. And I'm gonna say something about all the people that I see so beautifully. Who is administrator? I'm the administrator. Okay, I'm looking at all the beautiful people that are here. One thing we need to remember. The only person besides, I'm seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4 people with their faces. So hi to everybody that I can see. I see Maria with a photo, and then I see a bunch of names. So for my name people, you can add your photo. So you don't have to have you just go pick the best photo that will represent you. So then look what happens. Hold on, why it's not working? There you go. You see, that's me. So if I don't want to be in a meeting in which you want to see me, you just basically put your photo, okay? It's a lot better than a phone number, a lot better than just your name, because it basically shows a little bit of higher professionalism. When you're showing your photo, it means that you're already using this platform enough, so you know that, because if I'm in a big room, I need to see people's faces, okay? So that's a tip, just since I'm seeing a lot of you, and it's not hard to. Where do you go to upload your photo? When you have your Zoom, just go to Zoom, and you're up, you put zoom.s.com, you have an account with your email, probably you already created it, and then you go to profile, and that is when you can add your photo, okay? So that was just on the photo thing that I wanted to mention that. So we are around 18, very happy to see so many of you here, and since I mentioned to you, the ones that are not here, this session is gonna be recorded. So I'm gonna ask again another question, and I want you guys to use the chat. Why am I doing this? Remember, when you're talking to your client, you will not have the chat there. You will be talking one-on-one, you'll be hearing him with his wife or her wife, whatever. But when you have a lot of people, the back noise is horrible, okay? So that's why I mute everybody and we use the chat instead. So, and I'm not picking up the phone right now. So one thing that I wanna mention is, how many of you use Google Drive? How many of you, first of all, how many of you have a Gmail account? If you all have a Gmail account and you don't know what Google Drive is, next to your Gmail account is Google Drive, okay? So Google Drive is where you can have everything in. And why am I saying this right now? Well, for 2 reasons. One, because it's a lot better, it makes things simpler when you have to share a screen and you're basically sharing only one. That you have to come in and out to be able to change screens. So as for you to be simpler, and I'm gonna share my screen right now. Let me see what the screen is. Let me take this out of the way. Let me put this up. Let me take this out of the way. Because I'm pretty sure that right now you keep seeing that I'm looking at the screen, but actually I'm looking at my computer. So that's the beautiful thing about Zoom. You can be doing something else while there. And I found out with my kids, they're like paying attention to the teacher supposedly, but no, they're playing a video game. How fun is that? Not cool at all. So whoever has kids and have that experience, not a pleasant one. Okay, so here's my screen. So I'm now, and I know that you're looking, one thing that sometimes, and I explain this to the private people that are the ones that are doing coaching with me, for you to know that you're sharing your screen, I don't know if you see it, but I see a green box around my browser. So that tells me that that's the screen that I'm recording. Even if I were to have now 10 screens open right now, this is the only one that records. Now, I apologize for my dogs. Now, the other thing is, why do I say that it's important that you have all documents in one place? Because imagine you having, I don't know if you're like me, but I most of the time have around 25 pages on my browser, plus I might be working on 4 documents at a time. So that's how my brain works. It's not the best, but it's the way that I function. But it's at the moment that I have to do a presentation, if I have to go jumping from one place to another, it becomes distracting, especially for the person in front of me. And what I want is full attention. I don't want people distracted, and I want you to look into me. And this is why, at this exact moment, I'm looking into the tiny little green dot in front of my camera that tells me if I keep looking to that, I'm looking into your eyes. So I'm not paying attention to what happens here, which is like, watch. Now I'm looking at your faces on the side, but look at my eyes, they're looking there. So now you've lost my connection. So when you're talking to one person, it's easier. Remember, try to keep your eyes always concentrate on the dot, okay, in the camera. So that being said, let me show you this. So here we have, okay, we have my screen. And what did I do? What I did, let me do this here, besides cleaning everything, I have uploaded, okay, to my G Suite, which is my Creative Suite, the 3 documents that I'm gonna be presenting to you. So I have them all closed in one place. Even though that they're PDFs, they're in the cloud. So I only need for this listening presentation to be sharing my browser. Okay, I just need to be sharing this Chrome. I have all my tabs prepared prior to my meeting with my client. I have my Google Drive ready. I have my total broker ready because that's when I'm gonna talk about the listing agreement. I have my getaway here. I think I haven't even ready here. I have ready this. Why? Because I might be showing him going over, or maybe if I already have it, if I already have the pricing, the CMA should be on your Google Docs, okay? So, but if you're gonna be doing something, then is when you go here. So you need to have, okay, all your tabs that you're gonna be using on that meeting ready, okay? This is important so you cannot keep jumping in and out. So we're gonna start today. So let me see one thing. Let me go to my chat. Okay, perfect, no questions, awesome. So other things, why do I like to use Google Drive? Google Drive for me is very good and is efficient, especially in the sense of handling things, okay? I was telling to the group that was coaching with me earlier today that we lose a lot of time in finding things. I don't know how many of you have felt at some point that, oh my God, where did I leave the document? Do I have it at home? You work with your laptop, then you forget, then you go to the office, then the computer has nothing, so you cannot be efficient with your time. So with Google, by you having everything there, you can I have everything on my drive, which is this. I can access at any time my calendar. You see, this is the day of today. Here's the meeting that we're having right now. And I can go to any keep going. So I will have my Monday meeting with you guys here, which is the next. So all my schedule can be here setting up. So I can have everything there. If I need to write something to someone, I will come to Google Docs, Google Sheets, which is basically Excel, Google Slides, which is basically a PowerPoint presentation. And I can just type or create something right from here, okay? At the same time, if I come here, I can go to Gmail, I can go to YouTube, or I can go to a bunch of other applications. So as you can see, this is a place which if you start getting familiarized with this, you'll be so productive that it's not even funny. Besides, next time you're in the office, okay, because eventually I'm assuming that we'll come back, you're working in something at home and you have it on your Google Drive, guess what? You get to Optima, you just log into your Gmail account, access your Google Apps, and keep working from there like nothing happened, okay? So this makes us be very, very efficient as far as that. So let me see. Questions so far? If you have a question, please raise your hand or put it on the chat. Otherwise, now I switch screens again. As you see, I stop sharing. I'm gonna go back to sharing. So hopefully you guys all feel familiarized with sharing, right? Yes? The ones that are watching can say, can nod. Yes, cool. Okay, give me 1 second because one thing that I don't tolerate is my dogs around. Come on guys, outside. Bye, see ya. Oh. You stay? Okay. Much better now. Okay, so let's go back. Let's add. Okay, so now I'm gonna share. So I'm here with my client. So the first part of your conversation, like, hi, how are you, blah, 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 is going to be, of course, you and them, right? So this is the moment. You already asked for the video. So you already saw the video, you already have an idea, you already prepared the CMA, you already have the pricing with you, you know, you have your PDF or you have it open on the system. You'll have the listing presentation, you have your marketing material, so now you're ready to go. Okay, so basically you welcome them and you basically go straight forward for the presentation. There's people, and this is, I leave it open to their style of each person. Some people like to send the PDFs prior so they can go and read about it, and basically by the time that you sit with them, you're just going to go over directly to their house, okay, and to the things you do for them. I'm a big believer that if I'm going to send you a brochure, like, which is what I do, I talk about the company, but that's always the same case. I always say that the company is the shell, right? It's the thing that protects me. It's the one thing that gives me, the support. But the relationship is you and your client. The relationship is not the client and Optima. That's not the relationship. The relationship is you and your client. So that's when you need to connect. That's when you need to look straight to the camera and talk to them, okay? So again, if you want to make the best of the presentation and you know that what is the hardest part of a listing presentation, let's see. I want to see the answers. I want you guys to interact with the application. So write on the chat, what are for you the hardest thing on a listing presentation? Write it down. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. While you write it down, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. By the way, you can drink coffee or water or tea. The price objections, exactly. Pricing, okay? Everybody, when they're talking to you, they want to know exactly what are you going to do for them? How are you going to sell their house, okay? And they want to get the price they want. So you have to think that you don't want a listing presentation to be endlessless, because it's pointlessless and the person gets bored. And when you start looking, that the good thing about Zoom is that you can see what they're looking at. So if they're not looking straight at you, you know that they're distracted already. So that's why. And when you have a lot of people, everybody can put their photo and do something else. But when you're having direct contact with one person, that will not be happening, okay? So some people like to send the listing presentation, which has all the information about the company prior. And then when you meet with them, you basically go over just making a very conversational, okay? You don't go over slide by slide by slide. That's one thing. The other thing is you can do it on the listing presentation per se. But the way I prepare it for you is in 3 ways. You also will have your bio. Same thing with the bio. You can send the bio because the bio talks about you. So imagine, and I know that sometimes it feels weird. Hey, Mr. Buyer, seller, let me tell you why I'm the best. I'm the best because, and then is my whole charade on the, the bio that I have, but you do have the testimonial. So all those things are things that I find that are very good if you send them prior. Why? Because it's basically reading material. When they're meeting with me, it's all about me, how good I am at selling them and giving them the listing, right? So I need to use all my time to be not hesitating about how I talk about me, because it always feels awkward for me to talk about me, but it's more about, hey, this is how I'm going to sell your house. And this is how I know I'm the best for this job. So I want you to concentrate on that kind of emotion because that's what you need to accomplish than to be reading your bio. So again, you will have 3 documents that you can pick which ones are the ones. I like to send the marketing strategy is the one that I focus with the client as I'm doing it, and the pricing to discuss, okay? So let's go to the sharing now. Sharing. What is the sharing? Google Drive. Okay. So as I mentioned before, I'm gonna start by showing you, okay, the documents that all of you, as for tomorrow or Friday, actually tomorrow is Friday, are gonna have, because I'm missing 2 graphics that I wanna add, and I know how hard it is to do the first after. So this is the listing presentation, okay? So it's done in a digital format. So like in this case, I'm sharing from Google Documents. So I can basically move this a little bit to the bottom. I'm experimenting because when I use it, okay. And I can start talking about, let me see if I want to do the one thing. You see, the one thing that I want to do didn't work. So you basically start by talking about the company. Again, remember, if you send this document prior, you don't need to go over. You just go over some of the facts. You don't need to be reading. If you want to read, of course you can say, let's talk about Optimark, your partner through the buying and selling process. I mean, if it's going to look natural, do it. If it's going to look like you're a robot, don't do it. Again, send it to them, know the facts, okay? But remember, they're hiring you. They're not hiring the company. They're hiring you. And whoever goes to the company always goes back to the same. First questions, the marketing strategies in my bio. I'm gonna have to answer, okay, hold on. First question, then marketing, okay, perfect. Thank you, Albert, for that. So, so you show in the presentation, yeah, we talk about the company, you know, we have 2 offices, you're talking about the dedication to excellence, that, you know, we are, you know, you're very committed, that your company, you know, you work with coaches, you have a marketing department that supports you. All that is good. Remember, this is basically just to give them an overview of the company that is going to be holding their listing, you're going to be doing the selling, okay? Then it talks about the divisions that we have, the residential, the commercial, the concierge and property management, sellers, international, you know, how, and then you start going deep into the, how do we work with, you know, the marketing. So you have to literally read this material, internalize it, and see how this applies to making your best listing presentation, okay? And why do I say this? Because you need to find your niche, and not only that, you need to find your style. I like to people to receive things prior, again, because for me, is I can stop and talk about this slide, you know, for a long time. And I might, you know, not talk about, since I don't do commercial, I might go, you know, passing commercial right away. If I don't do property management with the company, can I mention property management? Yes, you can mention. You just can basically say that you provide a service to your clients, okay? So what I want you guys to see is that you have all the elements, okay? And as you do the presentation, you will go deeper into the slides that you think applicable, if any, okay? So, but what I want you to do, you need to read this. I want you to learn it, okay? Especially if you're new. If you're more experienced and you've been doing this for a while, you probably have your own style of doing the listing presentation. What we're giving you right now is the support of the graphics to apply to your own style, okay? So from the company's point of view. So when you talk social media, the writing talks about what social media does the company, but then it's like, this is a good moment, which you will see in the marketing strategy, for you to talk about how do you promote your, you know, your properties on social media. Do you use video? Don't you use video? Do you share with other realtors? Don't you? I mean, there's so much that you can talk, but it has to be a talk that is about you, okay? The market report, I always like to mention this, and especially in this part of the thing, because and I actually like to send it sometimes to the client with the other documents, because as much as I send, as much solid I look, okay? It's not a wishy-washy agent. I have all this data to back me up, because like some of you said, like Maria said, at the end of the day, the thing is all about the price. So you need to kind of prepare them for them to be ready for that, okay? So the Optima app, which you might have or not might have. So you, like, you know what I mean? You will focus on the things that you have, and you will pass by the things that you don't use or don't have. So, but we are doing it for all of you. So here's when I talk about professional marketing. And this is the part that, again, you can extend it and close it, but you need to know the facts are basically there. That's why I created this special slide, because I want you to be able to talk with authority, okay? I don't want you to be able to say, yes, we send emails to people. That's like, really? Is that the best you have? You have to go deeper, okay? So that's why I throw you some numbers. So, and these numbers are the lowest, meaning that maybe more people does it. At the end of the day, we don't control the other people, but we do control to how many we send. And statistics have that if the other agents are kind of half active as they should be using our free material like there's no tomorrow, because we are giving them literally the opportunity by doing the featured properties, which is for me the best, for them to pick up our marketing material and just blast it to their own clients, okay? So this is as far as the listing presentation goes. Okay, step number one, again, I repeat, you can send this to them. I'm gonna stop sharing. You can send this to them prior, and then you can, when you meet with them, sorry, you see, this is why I wanted to do this. Okay, and when you meet with them, what would you do is you go deeper into the explanation. Remember, the listing presentation, I don't know how many of you are familiarized with doing listing presentations, but it's the situation in which you have a listing that you want to get. You need to see, you know your speech. You cannot go to a listing presentation with no work done prior. You have to practice. That's no secret, okay? You have to practice, you have to rehearse, you have to say it, you have to know the numbers, you have to do some facts. And the beautiful thing, believe me, about Zoom is even if I don't know it and I'm sharing the screen with him and I have a note on, because I can be sharing the screen, but if I have a document on the side, okay, so I don't have to be looking down, so it's obvious that I don't know what I'm talking about, with some numbers, I can have it there, my client will not see it. I recommend that when you get familiarized with saying, yes, we have 2 offices, we have 500 agents. And by the way, we reach a network of more than 15,000 agents, but that's on the email marketing alone, because don't forget, since you've listed with us, we access more than 250, emails, and actually every company in town and in the state is going to feature your property for you the same, because they're part of the National Multi-Police Association. That's why it's important to have an agent that blah, 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 okay? You have to have, and you need to know those things. You need to know why it's important to work with a realtor that actually belongs to the board, and you're the one that belongs to the board. Why it's important? Because most people, some of you work with Aspire, some of you work with sold by owners. When you work with those people, they believe that just because they have a house, they put a yard sign and that's sold. Truth, just the neighbors will know, okay? So you need to emphasize on the reasons why it's important to hire a professional like you, okay? So for that, you need to prepare, okay? So then we're gonna go to the marketing strategy, the step number 2. So I'm gonna share again my screen again. So once you finish, you say, well, now that we talk about the company, let me really show you my marketing strategy. And here's when you go to the marketing strategy. So you're gonna talk the first thing about these slides. Hopefully, again, you will know it. I don't want you to be reading. You will have this material to study and to go deeper into, but it's about pricing. You're starting to prepping them up, because after this comes the discussion on the CMA, even if you didn't do it before. So you have to tell them why it's important to price a property right. Why is important? Well, because there is a part that most people don't know. There is something called history, and it's more than the History Channel. It's the one part that at least I go every time I have to go and check on a listing to see the history of that listing. So people think that they can be putting any price out there, so eventually will sell, without knowing that that will damage it a lot, because if they keep jumping from one realty company to another, or they keep dropping pricing and being very, we will see that in the history. So I like to always educate my client in letting them know that I'm here to work for a fast, best price for his property closing. That's my whole goal. I'm gonna do anything possible, but I will need his part, and I will always remember them that I can have the best product. I can have the best beef in town, okay? Juicy, beautiful, pepper, this and that. But if I'm talking to a crowd of vegetarians, I'm not gonna sell the beef. So what do I saying this? Because a lot of times I get these questions. Lola, what can I do if actually, I've done everything and my house is not selling, my listing is not selling? And I always answer with the same. I say, you can do everything right to the point of perfection. And that does not guarantee anything. Most of the time, because the end of the road is always pricing. But even if you have the best price, which happens a lot of times, your product might not be suitable. So we need to know that, and we need to know it because that conversation, and we know it, can show up. When we have one of those properties that you need to find the kind of the person that falls in love with it because it's so special that actually is 1 in a million people, well, you need to tell the client that you're gonna do everything. And then it's like finding your perfect match. You don't go and find, once in a blue moon, or for some people, they found the perfect, person in their lives the first time they went out. Most people, not the case. So you need to let them know that even with the best conditions, if your property is too special, you need to find someone that is special, okay? So all those things are things that eventually will allow you to have an honest conversation, go and start prepping the person, because this is all about prepping for the hardest part of your listing presentation, which is price. So here, again, you have it. So you can be talking like I'm talking right now and, showing about, yes, the first 14 days are crucial, okay? And I have an agent, and I don't think that she's in the meeting right now, but she sold the house in 2 hours. She got a contract 2 hours from the moment that she hit the MLS. Why? Because she had something that someone else was looking with desperation. So as soon as it hit the market, boom, gone. Pricing was right. So what happened? Got a contract in 2 hours, So it's not the first time that I hear this. The 2 hours was really close, but I rented a unit in less than 24 hours. And I'm pretty sure with rentals, you see that a lot. But pricing, okay? Talk and know about pricing. That's why you do what you do, and that's why you're a professional. And then you're gonna talk about the 4 steps to optimize your sale. And this is kind of explaining the back end of what you're gonna do. Again, I'm not gonna spend our time for me to read each of them. I want you to, when you get this, which by the way, all of you have these documents, both of them, in the portal in a print version, which means they're not landscape, they're portrait. But these documents have been sitting there for ages. They're under marketing and listing presentation. So you have the marketing strategy and the listing presentation. So if you want to start reading them and getting familiarized with them, they are there for you. But this is for you to go over really on the execution. You have the preliminary part, then you have the execution, okay? And then you have the follow-up, and then you have the closing. It's very important that you show up this and you talk about this too, okay? And that is the property marketing strategy. What would you do for them? And like I said, here is like, okay, you will be doing the market analysis, where you tell Mr. Seller, we're gonna go right now after these few slides to the market analysis, which I'm gonna share you exactly how much is the best price as for today for your property, okay? So you're prepping them for that. So of course, professional photography, you will be telling them at the end of this meeting, we are going to, and when I say, look at what I said, we are going to. I'm not talking, we might do it when you sign. I'm actually giving this as a fact. After this, we're scheduling the appointment with a photographer. And it's not like I'm gonna go there with my phone and see what, no. I'm going to go there, I have to schedule it with my photographer. I need to give you time to do whatever you need to do. Some people might need to, clean up the house, paint the house. You need to see how to each situation applies, but you need to make it like it's gonna happen. I'm going to go with my professional photographer, okay? And I know that some of you, and I was going to put a parenthesis, in the time right now, you might have the situation, the property is listed, I cannot get in, no problem. So if the property is listed and you cannot get in, and there is photos on the MLS from prior, or by any chance, you can actually ask the tenant and tell them if they can ask the tenant to nicely at least take a photo of the kitchen, just try to clean it up a little, a photo of the living room or whatever. You work it out with that would be awesome. If by any chance they allow you to go in with people, that would be perfect. If not, you have to work with whatever you have right now. There's always some option for it, okay? And remember, this is not gonna last forever. So then if the property is empty and the building is a house and you can get in, then do schedule a photographer. I have a lot of agents that, they're lucky enough that the properties that the listings that they're getting, they don't have restrictions. So they've been working with photographers even in these situations. But if you are actually going for this presentation and you have the other situations in which you cannot access, at least ask for them help. And even I can give you I have a flyer that with a few prompts on how to take the best photos, even with a phone. It's about finding the corner, doing the lining, even it's basically things that I created a long time ago to help you guys take photos the best way you can with the phone. So, but you need to talk about this. You need to show up that I do professional photos. Now the circumstances may not allow me, but as soon as they do, I will do them anyhow. Then you talk about the realtor.com showcase with everything goes there anyhow. The website search, that every time you put a listing, and this is important because people says, oh, I'm going to list with XY Realty because they have a website, and they start talking like, no, there's no tomorrow. And I always say the same. Well, guess what? Since you listed and it's in the MLS, it will be showing up in every single company listing. It will be there automatically. All of us have IDX. And this is a very good way for make it very clear and the way it is. We all have IDX. You have like 54,000 agents. That's 54,000 people that have IDX or have the potential of having IDX. Plus, I don't know how many companies you have, but you have all that as people with IDX and companies with IDX. So your listing hits the MLS, it hits the world, okay? And then you're gonna talk about the email campaign that you're gonna be doing, like I mentioned before. And you're gonna be talking about the property brochure that you're gonna be creating with the professional photos and social media. And this is the most important part. And this is why I want to emphasize. Pay attention to this page. This page will have two options. If you are taking professional photos, but at this point, it should not even be an if, okay? It should be you better be doing that. When you do the professional photos, you send those to marketing, and we create for you what you're looking right now. We create an e-flyer unbranded, a postcard, which is this document here, and a for sale flyer, okay, or just listed flyer. So the flyer is for you to print, the postcard is for you to print, and this is for you to send, okay? So this part can be as short or as long as you want it. And I'm gonna go back to here and put my face in here. Why I want you guys to concentrate on that page? Because I have agents, and I mentioned this many, many times before. I have agents that they show up with a binder showing everything they do. With those competing against those people is really hard. Why? Because they're prepared, they're professionals, and they know what it takes. And they know that people is kind of fed up of listings sitting on the MLS because the realtor is too lazy to do anything. So we have to be above that bar, because I know pricing is everything, right? And if we do the right pricing, the property will sell. So why bother with the photos, Lola? You're so picky, don't do that. It's so simple, just put it there and that's it. I don't know you, but I am really tired of seeing that. I think that as professionals, it does not show up on us. And it does not take that much, because again, I understand if you're telling me you have to do it yourself. I say, well, yeah, I know, right? You have to take a class and you have to learn, even though that I'm teaching you how to do it in Canva, but hey, here, we do it for you. The company does it for you. You have all that access. The only thing we request professional photos. Why? Because after all, your name is there, but guess what? My logo is there too. So I want you to show up the best every single time. So I come back to this issue because I've been doing marketing for 25 years right now. And this is an issue, it's a constant issue. An issue that I have never, ever had with a top producer. And as you know, prior to working with Optima, I worked with Fortune, and I worked many years there, and I had the pleasure to work with top producers, really people that were making a lot of money. And those are the ones that taught me how do I handle business. So what I'm giving to you in every coaching session, what I'm giving to you in every class is what I've learned from people that is up there. They don't sit on pricing on the MLS. They're so proud about their work that they have the best photographers, the best videos, because they're really proud of their work. And they know that regarding of the selling or not of the listing, because if the price is totally ridiculous and you still are willing to take that listing, which is another different story, you still have the material. It's not an easy thing to get a listing, guys. So if you don't use it to promote you, because remember, at the end of the day, you are your company. You are your business. So that's what I say. I had 2 listings in my life, 2. But I have kick-ass marketing things. Why? Not only because I'm a designer, but actually because I use the tools that the company has. And I actually, have my flyer, my e-flyer, so I can show it to anybody about 2 listings. Do I do it? No, well, because I don't do real estate, right? It's 2 friends that asked me for that. But what I'm trying to say is that when I took those listing presentations, the thing was because both were listed prior. Both listings prior were not good. There was photos with a phone, okay? I didn't see any other material. And for me, it was like taking candy from a kid, explaining why I'm so good, why do I work in an amazing company, and why I am the best person to do it, because I have the marketing to prove it. So I don't want you to go against the people with a binder and feel like you have nothing to show up. So I want you to be prepared. For that, I want you to have your marketing material. Take advantage of the service we're providing you, please. And also, you'll be doing help to other agents, because when the properties has the material, we put it on featured properties, and that way everybody in the company and outside of the company can take advantage and promote your listing. Okay, so that's very important. So then you will go to the biggest part of all, and that's the listing presentation and the pricing. So I'm going to share again with you. So you're basically going to say, well, now that you know all about this, I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to show you what I did for Julio in this case, because this is the person that I did it for. And this is not something that I like you guys to be discussing in the listing presentation. I'm just showing what I did for him, because this is something that we can do for any of you. What you need to have is what he has. Do you need to have his testimonials? Not his testimonials, but you need to have testimonials, okay? And so you need to have the wording. You need to have a professional photo, okay? And this can be done for you, okay? But all this talking, and I've seen, I've seen bios like this. There are like pages and testimonials, like if you're buying on Amazon, okay? And I said this again, why? This is something important that you send prior, because you don't want to be bragging in front of your client. You just want to send it to them. So when you come back to the listing presentation per se, you will be just talking about him, because now his house, him is an important thing on this discussion, okay? Not you. You were the pre-work. But I wanted to show you that, again, you can have something professional by doing your part. Do not take a photo with a phone. Hire a photographer, take a photo. Get testimonials. I don't have them. Okay, start calling people. This is the season to call people. So call people and ask for testimonials. Who have you worked with? Ask them for a few words for sending in WhatsApp, to put it on, anywhere, in Google, on any platform they can. If you get, reviews, is the best thing you can get, because these things, he got it from Zillow. He's a Zillow agent, okay? So, And that's it. With that, we create the piece. So it's very different for you to show up like this than for you to show up with nothing. Am I right? So this is something that you can have. You will have it there, so you know that you need your bio. Why am I hiring you? Why are you so good? Your testimonials, what actually people is saying about you, okay? And do please, I'm gonna beg you, since I have you here, you need to request for them to do this once we are, hold on, I'm looking at the chat. We need to do this, especially when, for them to do it on the like, I don't know, I think it's Facebook. They can do it also on Google. They can do it on, what is this other one? I keep forgetting. Just keep my mind, whatever you can put reviews. Why? Because there is no way to erase bad reviews. And let me put a pause on this moment, get out of here for a second, and look at you in the face. There is no way that we can erase bad comments. Bad comments are made to people because someone had a bad experience. Justify or not, it's not important. We're not here to judge or to say why or why not. The truth is, there was a relationship established and people were not happy, okay? So there's people that shut up and there's people that are very, very vocal, and they go to any media they can and they just vomit the anger. So most of the time, the rest of people is very passive. So unless you ask your client for a testimonial, hey, you know, we had an amazing experience. Are you happy? Oh my God, I'm so happy. This house is beautiful. I love my mug, you know, the gift, the pen, the things that you gave me. Wasn't the best experience ever. Okay, awesome. Can I ask you a favor? That's it. A few links. Can you just please send me do a review for me? It will help me so much. I know that you're so happy and I'm happy, but it would be amazing if you can do this for me. Of course, you can check. If they have not done it, you send them again. Hi, just a reminder, just a, hey, how is the house? Are you using the jacuzzi? Awesome. You know what? I'm calling just to see, can you please send me the reviews? Oh my God, I forgot, because they're not doing it on purpose, okay? Just let's make sure of that. People is not mean just because. They just are busy, like you're busy, okay? So you go back and you remind them once again that you need the review. Why I'm asking you for them to tell Yelp, now I remember, Yelp, Google, Facebook, whatever, there's a review, and we actually send an email. We can resend the email with all the links for them to do, because I just heard from someone else. That was a phone call that I had yesterday, an agent from our company that lost a listing because of a review of the company. And it's the people that does it wrong that go and say something, and it's the people that does it right that they don't do anything. And the bad reviews cannot be erased. And they're harming all of us. Are you hearing? All of us. So it's not about the, oh my God, they talk bad about Anna. Who cares? It's harming us. So I want you to ask clients, friends, family to go and review. Talk to your kids. Say, hey, by the way, can you just go to Yelp and say something nice? I mean, how professional I am. Again, not at the same house, not at the same time, because if they see that it's 1,109 reviews in one day, something is fishy, okay? So, but start talking to people every day. Say, hey, a review, can you just go and do it? One on Facebook, I mean, especially with the people that you know. Then with the clients, I want you to have them always, because that's how you build your testimonials. We buy products online based on testimonials most of the time. People, we're not different. We are not different than the mug in Amazon. We are the same as the mug. We go to see what people says about the mug before we hire the mug. So your testimonials, your referral from a friend that talks about you, when you're referred to someone else by someone else, you already are in, because someone else did the pitch for you. So when people, you're not getting through the friends and family network, and you're getting from calling someone on the phone, from a flyer that they got, from a postcard that got into their house. Do you think that people just call you to see how you are? No, they're not. What they do, they get their phone, they put your name, and they see what shows up. If there's no website, if there's nothing, and whatever shows up is not good, your chances are slim. People go and search for you before you do. So if you're gonna be having social media, please use social media to be your, because they will find you and they will Google you. So make your social media, if it's like, I'm the best realtor in town, but nobody will find you like that because the person received a postcard with your name, Lola Saudino or whatever, they better find me and not find, you know, something else. Because it's very hard for them to find the best realtor in town, which is my business account, because when they see my name, they're gonna go for my name. So that's why I want you to be mindful. It's like being a celebrity, if you want. When you're a celebrity, you need to be mindful of things. And if you want to have a personal account, make that one be only for my friends in Instagram. And that's when you share your photos with your kids going to Disney, so you don't care but when you are a realtor, people will remember your name. And they will go to see, hey, Paola, let me see Paola Jolie. And then there's nothing on that profile that talks about real estate. They're like, well, whatever, moving on. Now they go to Alberto and they see Alberto Hochman, and all they see, most of the posts is about the market, how active, this, walking into a showing a house, talking about the community, doing this. Oh my God, this person is really what he says he's saying. I just got this postcard, but this guy actually matches, and they give you a chance. So all this is happening in the back end. So we need to be mindful of our, you know, and this has little to do with the listing presentation, but I want you to put the seed of you to start thinking as a celebrity. People will find you before they even pick up the phone, okay? So then I'm gonna share my screen again, pause on that. We're gonna come to here. Now, we're here, right? So we finished with the presentations. I show you everything. If I have my marketing, my price done, my CMA, I will show it here again. If I don't have it here, I will go to the tab. Okay, so you see, now you're looking at this tab. And how do I know? Because I'm still sharing on the same browser. So I didn't switch. So you're basically looking at my different screens. So I can go right now and go into an RPR and do with them if I want to, which I won't. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I can go to Matrix and showing properties on the area. Do you want to see what's going on in the market? Let me show you your neighbors, because I already did that pre-selection. So I will show them that, okay? I want them to see, because it's important for them to see the market report. You can do a market report on a building. If you're having a listing on a building, just showing the market report really fast. How many have closed? How many are for sale? Let them see the truth, not what the Zillow says or what some agent says or what they think their property is worth. Let's start bringing them to the reality check part, which is the most important one. And when you finish with the pricing, having all your arguments, going over all your, what is this? Excuses are not, it's not the word. It's not the word. I'm gonna say, what is the word that is not excuses? I need to see, hold on. It's, what is the word? It's not excuses. Some of you are gonna put it there. Well, but objections. The word is objections. You need to be able to handle the objections, okay? So you finish with the pricing, right? So now back and forth, you say, well, let's do something. And then you go where? You go here. And hopefully, I didn't create a Froggy. I have one of my Froggy's things. Let me see, view transaction, something about a frog. Do I have Peter Pan? Peter Pan? I don't, oh no, 1000. What it was, Disneyland. I had a one that it was Neverland. My my transaction, my light transaction. So I go to my transaction, okay, and I come here, and I have, of course, this is not what I want. I'm gonna add it. You will have your listing agreement prior to this, okay? So I want you to have it with his name. So all this work should be done prior. You understand me? You have to have a transaction with his address, with all the documents that you need for when you work with a seller, because I want you to show up, not prepare. Like, you know that this is your listing. There's not even doubt. You already did all this work prior to him signing, because that's called pressure. Yes, it is. You are so absolutely sure that you have everything that it takes to make the best of this transaction, that you're already showing up even with a listing agreement, okay? And also, I also like it for them to show, actually this is a very good opportunity for them to show and for them to see they are not the agent with a little paper, with a little contract. You are actually an agent for this digital era, because the little paper agent is not gonna last long. I'm so sorry to say this. If you think that the coronavirus is an issue, no, because it's gonna go away. It's like the flu, whatever, it will go away. But from here on, the digital living is just gonna keep on going at a faster and faster and faster speed. So this is the moment for us to leave our limiting beliefs in a little box, burn it, throw it in the ocean, say goodbye, limiting beliefs that I'm not good with technology. Goodbye, that I need to be in person to make something happen. And start making it this way. You need to show confidence. You need to be able to get into this program and do it. You need to. That's it. No sugarcoating. There is enough videos, thank God. I'm going to do a class about how you work your CRM part of this system, but you need to show that you're up to play the part, because I'm not going to lie to you. Every other agent at certain level in all the other companies are already doing that too. And the ones that are not, they will think, you know, they will see how everything starts fading away. So you have to fill it out. I'm not gonna go over, because this is not a total brokerage class, but you're gonna have all these filled out, and you're gonna have his name here, okay, the address. So you can go over, you know, you're gonna have the legal description because that's public record, and you're gonna go over the facts that you need to go over. And that's when you close. Okay, any questions? Questions, questions, questions. I cannot unmute you all because we're still 17 people, so it's gonna be blah, 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 blah. But if you have two options. You can either raise your hand, or better if you raise your hand. Do you guys know how to raise your hand? Let me put you so I can see you all. Because if you raise your hand, I will unmute you. If you have no questions, it scares me. Always it scares me, because people with no questions may say that it was boring, didn't have any value, or I'm already sleepy. Okay, so yes, Eric, I'm going to unmute you. Thank you for raising your hand. Hold on, Eric. I'm gonna unmute you. Eric, you are unmute.
Thank you very much. This is my first time here. So I want to thank you very much for all this information, valuable information. That's why I want to introduce myself. I have the license for 10 years. I'm with you guys for many, many, many years. I'm in Broward County, Pompano Beach, Lighthouse Point, and I'm specializing in commercial properties, and also a center part of Florida. Basically, a lot of people are going to look to move from big cities these days, you know, maybe even from Miami. I mean, of course, people will come to Florida, definitely from New York and all the east part, the east coast, but also people are looking to make some moves. And I'm still very active. I bought 3 properties yesterday myself, and I really appreciate all the information here, Lola.
Thank you very much. One thing that I want to say, and thank you for presenting yourself. Yes, we never had the chance to meet in person, but we're meeting right now. So one of the things that I want to talk is, and I'm going to mute you again if you don't mind, is the fact, and then I'm going to go with you, Jessica, because you raised your hand. One of the things that I want to say is that, and especially with you, Eric, because let's share. I always say that sharing is caring. So if I am not good, not good, if I don't know enough of commercial, if I have no clue of the Florida central market, or actually, if I don't know, like in my case, I don't know anything about Brickell. I mean, you take me out of Brickell and that's it. I like literally drown. I don't do the north, I just do the south when I do. So what do I want you to tell you with this? It's the moment to build relationships. Relationships are not only with clients, it's with other agents. Why would I go over and try to learn something when I can have someone else that actually knows and I just can basically partner on that transaction, okay? Because if I have a client that has looking for something and it's gonna take me 3 months to find it, and I have someone that is specialized on that market, hey, we'll go back to referrals. It's a no-brainer. We all be happy. My client is super happy. I look like the pro because I was actually able to solve a problem in no time, right? Instead of like trying to learn the process. So I keep emphasizing this. We have a bigger enough company for you guys all to share, okay? And I can, I will find a way. I'm trying to do these classes more often because I think that if you guys connect, it's great. On the coaching sessions that we have, I have only a few people that show up. So maybe after now having all this platform, we can do it with more people. If that's the case, I would like to you guys to, actually I'm gonna send, this is a good idea. I'm gonna send a survey, okay, which I actually did a long time ago, a class of a survey. So if you're interested, I wanna know what you wanna learn more. If it's in my power, I will teach you anything. I love learning and I love teaching. So whatever you need that you think that you don't know enough, please let me know. And I will figure out a way to do quiz and ask for the coaching. One thing I'm gonna say, whoever wants to participate in the coaching sessions that we already have, I might open a new dates, so not to disturb the people that has been working with me for a while. But if you're gonna jump in, let's do commit. I want commitment. I don't want in and out because it's very stressful for me and people get lost. So if you're committing, I'm gonna open new sessions for coaching in groups. I love working in groups, and you guys can jump in. So that being said, let's move to Jessica. I'm gonna lower your hand and I'm gonna unmute you, honey. You are on mute, right? No, you are not. Hold on, I mute. There you are.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and everybody else can too.
I'm sorry. No, thank you so much to piggyback off what he said, Lola. This is awesome and amazing. You have great tips in here because I actually have a person with a listing presentation that was in the middle of everything breaking out and they had major concerns. What could be the main point, because obviously the question is going to be, what would give you a leverage and how are we going to survive during this process, during the pandemic? Even though we have the virtual showing, they're like, I don't want people in my house, even if like, you know, I have the leverage over someone else that they may know.
Okay, I think that I'm gonna rephrase it just to be sure because you're cutting off a lot. So I'm not sure if the question. So if you don't mind, because I don't know, you might be on the phone, I'm gonna mute you. Yes, I know. Hold on. I'm gonna mute you all again. Thank you, Ricardo. You're so cute. So I think the question, and I appreciate it if you can actually write it down in the chat so I can actually read it and answer it correctly. But if the question was, what I think it was, that it was, how are we going to, when you get a listing and someone gives you a listing, this is one of the things that I've heard, okay? Because it's the new objection. Or most of an objection is a fear, okay? It's the uncertainty. Remember, we are fearful because we don't know. That's the truth. It's like, and at this point, I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows. We only know that we don't know. This is what is happening right now. But at the same time, we have, because I sent you the market report, right? Hopefully you all saw it and you all already blasting it out because it's a very useful tool to do, send that out. The market report and what is happening right now is that what I saw when I was doing it is that the amount of transactions dropped. The amount of closing transactions dropped because we're working with a pipeline, okay? And like I said, we need to always analyze. When you get the market report, the best way for you to foresee the future is in the market report. Because in the bottom part of the market report, there is a section that says single families and condos, which also marks the month prior. And what happens is that says pending closings. The pending closings is your pipeline, is what is already pending, that it should be closing sometime in the future. So what I've seen and what we have seen is that the amount of closings have dropped to 25, 40% in some areas, depending on the area, between 25, I would say 25 and 50%, the amount of closings each month, okay, from March to April. That's what we saw. Now, the amount of listings has dropped too. What does it say? It's not saying that we are in a very scarceful and very weak market. We're not in a weak market because the balance in between how much is selling and how much is offered is still the same. Single families is still a seller's market, okay? Because you don't have more houses, you have less, okay? So even if you have less closings, you still have the equal balance, okay? And what is happening right now with people that cannot show is always the same. You have the people that needs to sell, and this goes back to the needs. Remember, we have different kind of people. We have the people that they're looking to see what happens, either to buy or sell, or they need to make a move. Okay, they need to move money for whatever reason. They need to reallocate money. They need to, whatever they need to do with the money. So the difference between the need people and the I'm seeing what is going to go, where it's going to go people is basically what makes to make a decision fast. If we're working with someone that, you know what, I want to see how this thing goes. My answer to that is this following. Mr. Seller, why would you like to wait when we can start working right now? Because the truth is, you can do a virtual tour if your house is occupied. If you're in the house, I can get there with my photographer wearing like he came from the moon with the whole, plastic thing and everything. We can do the photos anyhow. Or if you have a tenant, well, he can do a basically very simple video. We can ask for his, appreciation and love, and we can work that way. And if not, we will have to still promote it because there's people, that no matter what is going to need to make a move. And they're wishy-washy. Well, if they wait, think of this. Now is the moment in which some people is holding. So what better moment to be in the market than right now? Much better than if you are in the market when everybody's like a stampede and everybody's desperate to make everything happen. Because you already had time to prepare your market, to start talking to your potential clients, to start talking to your other partners' agents, to start moving the property in those ways. Because the day that these things get up and everybody goes crazy to get out, why waiting? The prices, we're seeing what happens to the prices. Go and see, and again, I always say the same, we're not in a market that real estate is been hidden because we were weak. We were not weak before now. So we're not weak right now. And the pricing, if you look, and this is why I said education, education, education. If you look at the prices, okay, and I'm gonna share it because this is something easy that I can share. Look at this. Where is it? It's in my desktop. I have to do it, hold on. You stay there because I have to open it up. I need to close it for a reason because I want to share, okay. There you go. So let me close. Let me do the sharing again. I want you to see something, and this is why for me it's crucial that you guys know your numbers. Okay. This thing that you're seeing here is on 2019. It's super old. There is a new one. But why is here? Well, because I have a listing presentation of the how to sell Miami to international buyers. And my presentation was from 2017. So it was very different than to that one. So I want you to see, and I always make the same thing. Look at the line, okay? Look at where we're going. And of course, the blue line is the single families because it's been measured from before, okay? And the condo started being measured on the year 2005, 2004. That's when they started the measurement. So that's why there is nothing prior to that. So you can see where you are here. So it always depends on where people buy or sell. Okay, so what I wanted to say with this is like, there's only one thing that will make you cannot foresee the future. You cannot foresee the future, unfortunately. You can look at the numbers, which I love looking at numbers. I look at numbers all day long. I look at numbers up and down, back and forth. I look at my zip code. I look at someone else's zip code. I look at everybody's. Why? Because the numbers gave me, at least to me, gives me an argument. I feel like, okay, if I know how many properties are being sold, if I know the pricing, if I know this, if I know that, man, I just know it. I can just, very easily, it's not convincing. I can say to someone, you need to sell, this is a good moment. Well, but don't worry about it. We'll do a video. Let me walk one day with someone. If you walk one day, like if the person lives in the house, okay, you can, we know how this thing is. And of course, there's people that is more susceptible to all this situation. But we have a very good clue of how this thing goes around. So to be protected and to try to make the best. Maybe if you cannot do interior shots, we do the outside, and then we ask them nicely to make their shots in, with their phone. We drop a camera in the front door. I don't know. We be resourceful, okay? And if they have to wait to see the house, well, again, virtual touring, it will become a new thing. So I don't want you to, try always to be the best informed person is my advice. So you can give them not a la vision of it, a reality, but not a drastic one. Because I see transactions happening. I have agents renting and going and selling, and I see someone selling a house in 2 days, in 2 hours, I'm sorry, and the person even put an offer before even seeing the apartment. You know what I mean? So there's people looking for opportunities. Oh yeah, we're gonna see a lot of those. But okay, you have a single family, you're not in a rush. I'm not gonna take just a price because, oh, we don't know what's gonna happen. No, honey, I know what's gonna happen. There's not gonna be more single families, so I'm in a very strong market. I'm not gonna drop my price just because there's a virus going around. It's not gonna happen. Now, if I happen to be desperate to sell my house, that's a different story. So it always depends on the people, okay? So I hope that clarified your question, if that was the question, because I know that you were in and out. Any other questions? Any other hands? You can either do your virtual hand or you can just do your hand on the screen. If you don't have any questions, I'm assuming that this is over. It's been 1 hour and 20 minutes, so it's not that long. I'm gonna ask you please to be ready. Do it as professionals. So if you're gonna be sitting, find your spot, find your light, be the best. If you're gonna be in your house, find your corner. I want you to be doing, you guys to be doing videos like crazy people, okay? And for that, you need to have a space that you feel comfortable, okay? Then you're gonna receive the listing presentation. If you do not have a bio like Julio, don't worry about it. It can be created. I cannot make up testimonials, that's for sure I can't. Do you have to have them? Hopefully you do. If you don't worry, it will build up in time, okay? Now, marketing material, I'm gonna say it just the way it is. I hope you did it before. If not, start doing it now. This is not the time for people not to do marketing, because marketing is how you make a business, okay? So if you do have them, you probably have them on your Dropbox because marketing sends us to you. And you can, I'm gonna show you in Canva in another class, which I already did, how you can add things. So you will be able to create your own slides, okay, of all the marketing material that you have for other properties. And there's no limit. You can say, oh, but Lola, it's too much. I have I have 15. I say, well, what do you wanna do? You can send them again prior to the date, all your marketing material that you did for other people, or you can pick your best versions of it and just add it to the end of the marketing strategy package, okay? But you're gonna receive the marketing strategy package done as you show it. You're gonna receive the listing presentation. I'm not gonna send you the listing, the bio, because unless you have it, but if you don't have it, you will have a way to request it, okay? Or I can even teach you how to do one. And what else you're gonna have? I think it's about that. Yes, listing presentation, yeah. So the other things, is every listing you have to do. You have to do your, comparative market pricing, so you can talk about the price. You can, I always love to people to see how we work. I think that gives a lot of foundation. And it was something that prior maybe before was not able to do. Now we can actually do it, because some people think that just oh, you're gonna charge me how much? 3% for doing what? Come on, dude, we have to work, okay? And they need to know it. So I wish you all the best. Hopefully I will see you on Monday at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I don't remember, I think it's 4 o'clock, for the class on how to work with total brokerage with your CRM, okay? That's how you can now start communicating with the clients that you have there, the ones that you can upload. And this is amazing because it's about automation, it's about being, on people's mind, and keep being, if you are not, this is not something mandatory. You can choose your own system. If you want to work with Lion Desk or with Wise Agent or whatever, there's so many out there, is your choice. Of course, please be my guest and enjoy. This is the one that we are offering you for no cost, okay? It's part of the program. So thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure to see you guys. And I will see you next time I'm going to send the recording to whoever didn't come. And I will see you if you show up on Monday, okay? Bye, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.